Ladies and gentlemen, Chem 111, Test 2 Review, Fall 2022. What we have started already is our study guide. I stole this from the preview exam at Moodle. We already started earlier. I reminded you your test date, bring a non-graphing calculator, be here early. If you're here before 9:10, I'll let you start before 9:10. Items you must know: polyatomic ions, percent yield calculation. There's concepts, and that was that for page 1. Iron more ions you must know. These are based on their position on the periodic table, and that's why they're here in the form of a periodic table. Okay. And what else do we have? We have this solubility chart, which will be given. This will be given, but not with the black boxes on it. You're going to get a periodic table. Okay. And just to make this a better review, this column, it's just more colors. Halides are what charge? -1. And then, well, new color again. This column, there's a pattern, -2. And then this column, in particular, these two, -3. So now we have all of our ions based on the periodic table here. And we'll even put boxes on all of them. Ooh, yeah. And green. There we go. So those are our ions and solubility. And somebody had a good answer for when we use the solubility table, but I don't see that student here anymore. Uh-oh. Okay. So somebody else got to pick up the slack. When are you going to have to use the solubility table? When you want to know if a precipitate occurs during a chemical reaction. Now, your clue in the wording that I will give you will be something about states. So I'll say, give a balanced reaction including states. And then you say, oh, states, I better be able to use my solubility table. And it says things like, if a chloride meets a silver ion, it's going to form a precipitate because it's an exception to a solubility. So silver chloride is an exception to the solubility of chlorides, which are all soluble, and the exception is insoluble. And some of them are written as everything's insoluble except. So if I said we had rubidium hydroxide, which is RbOH, then you'd say that's soluble, right? Because all hydroxides are insoluble except for things like rubidium hydroxide. So watch the wording, it's very important. And what do you know? When do you know you have an acid? If H is listed first, it's typically an acid. Acid, base is water. And remember, I told you there's not just table salt in this class, right? Metal cation, any anion is a salt. It's just another way to say ionic compound, pretty much, okay? A salt, S-A-L-T, boom. There you go. And here, where did I get the preview? The exam preview is found at Moodle. So I'm going to do a stop share. And then I'm going to do a share to find my Moodle. And starware something. Maybe I don't have my movie. Huh. Okay. Moodle's not open. There he is. Okay, that's open. And there we are. And exam 3 preview is found in the area under in class practice problems. So in class practice problems have our videos underneath those. We used this when we studied for test 1, and we're using this now for test 2. And we're going to go back. I'm going to stop share on this screen and share again at Starboard. And what we have here are nomenclature questions. So what I want you to do is get your name on a piece of paper. Don't copy these down. Just copy the answers. Oh, that's nice. This will be activity 1. Oh, and guys, I'm always interested in recycling. I have a lot of scrap paper. I'm going to pause the video. And all right, everybody, we are going to do some nomenclature practice here. We always have to review our ions. So ions don't get points here, but they help us name things. Zinc is what ion every time? 2+. C2H3O2 is what ion every time? Negative. So even though we don't have to use the ions to figure out what the formula looks like, because we have the formula, always remember this, because you're going to have to go the other direction too. Are you surprised there are 2 acetates for 1 zinc? Crossover says we're not surprised at all, right? We're just verifying that that was good news when they gave us that formula. And the zinc ion is just called zinc. So your answers will be over here. And then purple. You only need the answers. Zinc, and what's the C2H3 anion called? So zinc space acetate. And SO3, I got to point something out. No ions, star. Why are there no ions? Star. Whoa. When this starts happening, we save. We wait. Can you answer that question while we're waiting for lag time here? Why do you know there's no ions in SO3? There's no charge listed here, yet those are ions. So he said it doesn't have a charge, and that was his answer. And I can't accept his answer because I don't see ions here either, and that was ions. But this one, there's no ions, and how do I know? There's a type of element, and there's only one type of element here. Non-metals only. It's a slightly dangerous way of wording this because there's certain ions that don't have metals in them either. They're called polyatomic ions, but we're supposed to be able to spot those. When you saw C2H3O2, you knew that was an ion if you've been studying your polyatomic ions. So you knew right away you were in the ion category, right? When you see one of your polyatomics, that's a dead giveaway. If you see a metal, left side of periodic table has the metals, right? So if you see a metal and then a non-metal, ionic compound. SO3, there's just non-metals there. So this is the easy nomenclature. This is the one where you don't have to look over at periodic table. Just look at what's on screen. And tell me how many sulfurs? 1. Do you say monosulfur though? You don't put mono for the first element ever. It's understood if I just say sulfur, it's monosulfur. So purple, sulfur, and then You need a prefix for how many oxygens there are. What is that? Yeah, trioxide. And we only use those prefixes only for, we call them binary compounds. So once again, only use prefixes for binary compounds. Just another reminder, what's a binary compound? It's non-ionic. And it's got just two types of elements. That's where the bi comes from. Okay? Okay, no ion. So I don't want to see those prefixes for ionic compounds. There will be trouble. And the next one has AU in it. Looks like the 2 didn't get subscripted, but I don't think you got a problem with that, right? It was just a typing error. Yeah, what is the gold ion? Wait, gold. Gold is one of those ions that's not on our list of memorized ions. You better write your ions down this time. You don't know gold. So you write down that you don't know gold. AU question mark plus. And I do know CO3. What is CO3? 2 negative. That's critical. Okay? There's 2 golds and 3 carbonates. 2 minus times 3 equals what? How many minus? Ladies and gentlemen, help me out. 6 minus. Yeah. Your 2 golds have to balance. Your 2 golds have to balance 6 minus. Each gold has to be the same charge. The combination of the 2 cationic charges has to equal 6 plus. Okay, so 2 times X equals 6 plus. X equals what? 3 plus. The name is gold, and you got to tell me its charge in the name because it's one of those ions that has a variable charge. So I want purple. And the last one is called gold. And how do you tell me it's plus 3? Parenthesis, I. What's the name of the CO3 2 minus ion? Carbonate. Thank you. So I just need your purple answers on your activity thing and carry on. We're going to do all 4 questions. Okay. So it's ABC if you're scorekeeping. And now we got ions for lead, IV. Question 2. Now I can't see the 2, but you know, there it is. So that's, what's the formula for lead? Oh, yeah. You want me to give you some help remembering that? Because it's a weird one, right? Well, I'll give you its Latin name and you can figure out when the Latin started to use it. The Latin name is plumbum. I know, it is kind of funny, isn't it? Plumbum. And they used it for, guess what? Plumbing, yeah, plumbing. Okay, good. And if you've read a little Roman history, you'll know, well, one, only the rich could afford the lead plumbing, okay? Only the rich. The poor, you know, out in the streets shoveling through the muck, okay? And lead causes issues, mental issues in particular, insanity and violence, long-term effects. We got a lot of the lead out of the air in the 70s when we took it out of our gasoline. And there's a remarkable study on the precipitous drop in violent crimes in certain areas of the world that had lead in the air from their gasoline. It was a good study. Interesting. Anyway, a lot of talk. Back in the day, the Roman emperors were notorious for their craziness. Seriously. Just read about Caligula, and you'll know what I'm talking about. And he was probably lead poisoned because they didn't know that lead was leaching out of their plumbing. Now you're going to remember lead as PB? Sometimes we need a story, right? Okay, and the name tells us the charge of the lead. So what is the charge of the lead? Yep, +4. And the sulfide is always S with what charge? Periodic table. It's to the left of the halogens. That's the big clue. The halogens are all -1. So what's the sulfur? -2. And now cross over and then simplify, because they're both divisible by 2, aren't they? The 4 is divisible by 2. The 2 is divisible by 2. So answer A in purple is 1 PB. And how many S's? Well, it's really 4, but then divide by 2, right? Right? Yeah. S2. Crossover gave us PB2S4. Don't write that down. You can simplify the ratio to PBS2. Calcium is in column 2 of the periodic table, so it's always Ca2+. Cyanide, we have to learn. Which one? Which one's that? Formula, please, and charge. Nice. Cn-1. And the crossover says you're going to need 2 cyanides. You go with the 1 here. Weird crossover. Sorry about that. Got a hitch in it. There we go. And answer B will be Ca once. Polyatomic ion needed twice. What do you do when you have polyatomic ions needed more than once? Parentheses. Cn how many times? 2. Good job. I'm just going to go ahead and do this again. It's the same comment as before, but I'm going to edit my comment. It's going to be a double star. Oh, wow. Double star. Or metalloid / non-metal. Because silicon's not really a non-metal, is it? Both of those fit in the prefix. I just call that the prefix category. That's a weird X. Gonna get rid of everything. The prefix category. So just give me the answer. Yeah, Si, because it said, it didn't say mono. You shouldn't say mono for the first one. And dioxide is O2. Yes, ma'am.
That was A, not PB4S2.
PB2S4, you mean? Crossover gave PB2S4. 2 goes with PB, 4 goes with S. But that, here's my work over here. I just verbally said it. I never wrote it down to, and purple S4. Now you can simplify both of those by dividing by the same number, 2. So that became that. We had to simplify. Simplify. Okay. Name the following acids. Okay. So we got one that's a binary. And of course, it's an acid. So what's the cation every time? I'm just going to write it down 3 times. What's the cation for every acid? Yes, sir. Oh, we got a question. When is the only time we use parentheses in a formula? He was asking, why did cyanide get the parentheses? And the question is now, when do we use parentheses in a formula? And it's when you have multiples of a polyatomic ion. Multiples of these ions. Where are they? Where are my ions? It was page 1, wasn't it? Nope. We put our polyatomic ions somewhere. Oh, I know why. They disappeared. Sorry? Oh, they're all here. I just need help sometimes. So when you have to use more than one of any of these in a formula, you surround it with parentheses. And there we go. And back to the question at hand, what is the cation for every acid ever in this class? Hydrogen, and what's its charge? Yeah, I'm copying down H plus 3 times because I have 3 examples here. And the anion of this binary one is I minus. What's the anion of the next one? PO4 has what charge? Yeah, 3 negative. That's why it took 3 hydrogens, right? And NO2 has what charge? Negative. And we have phosphate is the name of that ion, and nitrite. And we have to know what happens to 8, and we have to know what happens to ite when you go to an acid. So we got all 3 types of acid right here. Binary is easy. First 5 letters are for any binary acid. First 5 letters. Hydro. Nice. Answer A, B, C. First 5 letters of every binary acid is hydro. And then change the name of iodine to iodic. Iodic acid. So the things that for every binary acid, you're going to see every one of them has that blue underlining in their name. The only variable is what goes with H, right? If it was Br, you put brom, bromic. If it was F, you put fluor, fluoric. Got it? 8 ions also become ic acids, but they don't have a hydro in front. Wow, that's a lot of words. 8 ions become ic acid. Remember, atic? 8 ions become ic acids, and itis, like the disease, itis. 8 ions become OUS acids. That's our 3rd one. So phosphate became phosphoric acid. No hydro. Do you want to know what hydrophosphoric acid looks like? This is D. D. The question would be hydrophosphoric acid. And the answer would be H3P. Oh, yeah. That's a new question, D. Wasn't there before. So watch out. Phosphoric acid, almost the same name as hydrophosphoric acid, right? Very different though. And nitrite, ite ions become which acid? Nitrous acid. Review. 8 ion makes ic acid. 8 ion makes OUS acid. Summary. Attic itis. Should look familiar. It's in your notes already. And we're about to finish our first activity. Be at least a double activity, I think. Here we go. Identify whether the following are soluble or insoluble in water. Oh. It's about states. So I'm just going to go steal the old solubility guide. Probably under here, yeah. Yep. When calcium meets what? Chlorides, all soluble, and then calcium's not on the list. So what are you going to write for calcium chloride in purple? It's an answer. Soluble or insoluble? First one. Sorry? Soluble. All chlorides are soluble except if they're silver or lead. Hey, when there's silver and a chloride, what do you get? Answer B. Insoluble. And what's the, you can put precipitate, right? PPT? Did you use that short form yet? Maybe you haven't. Yeah, precipitate. But anyway, you don't need those extra things. You just need what's over here. And carbonate. Is carbonate on my list of solubilities? Yes. All carbonates are insoluble except for those 6, but calcium's not on that list. So that is one of the insoluble carbonates. That one's chalk, by the way. Chalk. Yeah. And sodium carbonate, all carbonates are insoluble except if there's sodium. Then it's soluble. So hand in your document with the purple answers on it. Oh boy. Here you go. Next double activity. We're going to go steal some more stuff. We're on the study guide right now. We're going to stop the video. When I say steal stuff, I mean grab stuff from Moodle and put it over here in class. It's not stealing.